He had over 800 followers on Instagram, a group chat that never stopped buzzing, friends who texted him memes at midnight and invited him to things on weekends. By every visible measure, he was connected. And yet every night, when he put his phone down and the room went quiet, there was this feeling. Not sadness exactly, not longing for a specific person, just a kind of hollow stillness, like he was standing in a crowded room behind a glass, present, visible, and completely unreachable. He told me he'd felt it for years, and the part that confused him most was that he didn't know why. Maybe you know that feeling. Not the loneliness of having no one, but the loneliness of having people and still feeling alone. The kind that doesn't make sense on paper. The kind you can't explain without feeling ungrateful. Because you have people. You have a life. So what is this? Here's what I want to offer you today. There are two very different experiences that we collapse into the same word. Being alone and being lonely. And understanding the difference between them might be one of the most clarifying things you can do for yourself. Being alone is a physical state. It's the absence of other people in your immediate space. And for a lot of people, maybe more than you'd expect, being alone feels good. It feels like exhaling, like finally having room to think, to feel, to simply exist without performing anything for anyone. There's a reason so many people describe their alone time as sacred. It's where they come back to themselves. It's where the noise of the world falls away and they can hear their own thoughts again. Being alone is not a problem to be solved. For many people, it's a necessity. Loneliness is something completely different. Loneliness is not about the absence of people. It's about the absence of connection. And that distinction matters enormously. Because you can be surrounded by people and feel profoundly lonely. And you can be completely alone and feel utterly at peace. The variable isn't how many people are in the room. The variable is whether you feel known. Whether there is someone, even one person, who sees you as you actually are. Not the version you perform, not the version that's always fine, but the full, complicated, contradictory truth of who you are. The man I told you about at the beginning, he wasn't lonely because he had the wrong friends. He was lonely because he had never let any of them actually know him. He was funny in group chats. He showed up to things. He asked how people were doing and listened when they answered. But when someone asked how he was doing, he deflected, made a joke, changed the subject, said he was good. He had become so fluent in the language of connection that no one could tell he wasn't actually connecting, including for a long time himself. This is more common than most people realize. We live in an era that has optimized for the appearance of connection. Followers, reactions, group chats, comment sections. All of it giving us the stimulation of being seen, without any of the vulnerability that actual seeing requires. And so we get very good at performing connection, at being present without being known, at showing up without showing anything real. And it works in a way. It keeps the loneliness at a manageable distance, but it never actually touches it. Because loneliness isn't healed by more contact, it's healed by more honesty. There's a researcher named John Cacioppo who spent decades studying loneliness. And one of the things he found was this: the most dangerous form of loneliness isn't the kind that looks like isolation. It's the kind that hides inside social activity. The loneliness of the person who is always busy, always surrounded, always performing a version of themselves that everyone else seems to love, while the real version sits quietly in the background, waiting for someone to notice, waiting for someone to ask the right question, waiting for a moment that feels safe enough to be honest. So here's the question I want to leave you with. In your life right now, is there anyone who actually knows you? Not the version of you that's doing well, not the version that has things figured out, the version that's uncertain sometimes, that carries things, that gets tired. Is there someone who has seen that person and stayed? If the answer is yes, even one person, Hold on to that. Invest in it. Don't take it for granted. Because that one real connection is worth more than 1,000 surface ones. And if the answer is no, or if you're not sure, I want you to consider something. The reason you don't have that might not be because the right people haven't come along. It might be because you haven't let them. Because somewhere along the way you learned that showing the real you was a risk not worth taking. And so you got very good at giving people just enough to feel connected without being vulnerable. I'm not saying that to make you feel like it's your fault. I'm saying it because it means something is in your hands. Not all of it, not immediately, but the next time you're with someone you trust, even a little, try saying one true thing, not the whole story, just one sentence that's actually honest. See what happens. See if they lean in. See if the glass gets a little thinner. Because being alone can be peaceful. Being alone can be restorative. Being alone is not the thing you need to be afraid of. The thing worth being afraid of is standing in a room full of people and feeling like none of them know you're really there. That's the loneliness worth doing something about. And you don't have to live there anymore. If this reached something in you, leave a comment. You don't have to explain it. Even just a yes, and I'll know exactly what you mean. And if you want to keep having conversations like this, follow the channel. I'll be here every week, same time, same honesty.